this topic of personal development for business owners and all that. Could you give us a little background about you and like where you're based and everything that you do?
Yeah, sure. Well, originally I'm actually from Lithuania, so I moved to UK. I think over like 18 years ago. So it was
Okay.
back in 2008. I came to study at university, and guess what? I stayed. So I finished university, did some work working for someone else. Like I was employed, I was working in financial services, both in like corporate, government, and startups. But then when the COVID kicked in, I've just realized that I need to change something because there's been so much uncertainty going on
Hmm.
around employment, and I was always passionate about like growing as a person because I always was analyzing and looking at what separates successful people from unsuccessful, what makes some people wealthy, some poor, some happy, some not. So I was putting often like observant hats,
Oh
and
yeah.
just yeah, what actually people are doing. And this is how the business that I'm doing now was born. I run IT startup. It's a tech business, but we are primarily creating a product, which is a mobile app with the love for people because we want to support people with personal development.
Hmm.
So, and that was born out of passion, actually trying to find a product to help ourselves because I work together with my other half. We're two co-founders. We don't just run a business together, we also have family, we have two kids. Life is fun, it's busy, but you know, I love it. It's like a full on. And on the side, I also do a bit of a mentoring as well. So I work with primarily service based providers such as consultants, coaches, small business owners, helping them with scaling up their business, whether they need help with strengthening their product, really understanding their offer, and essentially helping them attract the people they want to work with because I'm all about building relationship with people. That's kind of my philosophy. If you're in business, you need to know and learn to actually how to build authentic relationships because that's how most businesses work. It's
Yeah.
based on relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting. Like a lot of the people that I talk to, a lot of the like photographers that I coach and mentor are very introverted and very much like kind of reserved and
Mm.
don't like to put themselves out there and make new connections. And I think that is a huge part of business and growing as a business is making those connections and making friends in the industry and networking and all of that. And me, I grew up as a very quiet little child, very reserved and shy, and it took a lot to get me like out of my shell to start having more conversations and being more personal. Part of starting this podcast 4.5 years ago was that I like wanted to have more conversations and kind of help train myself to be more conversational and I don't know, and less just kind of like single word answers or just like nodding along in a story and just being like, okay, all right, cool, and not really like adding anything back into the conversation. Uh, so it is definitely something you can learn, and I love that you teach that and you help mentor
Yeah,
people to make
I
those
think
connections too.
yeah, I think it's interesting you mentioned introverts per se because for a very long time I thought I was an introvert.
Mhm.
But only later I actually found why I was thinking this way, and that finding out that I'm actually not quite an introvert, because I do love talking to people. But the reason why I used to think this way is because I just wasn't a happy person, I was really like in my own kind of zone, not really accepting myself for who I was,
Mm,
not really accepting. I call it like this: every person has like some shadow sides to them. And the shadow sides could be like, well, I can be a very caring mom, but then I can also be a very forward, direct, demanding like leader, as an example. And I can be a bitch. It's
yeah.
like it's different things, but it's like this is all our shadow sides. And for a long time I wasn't fully accepting for who I truly was, and I was kind of like hiding, trying to figure out what am I all about. Shall I like show up in this way or that way, or what people gonna think about me? And because I wasn't happy myself, I was fighting internally, struggling and battling not just myself, but the world around me. And I really struggled connecting with people. To be honest, tell you a secret, I didn't like people just because I didn't like myself. But that
Yeah.
comes hand in hand. It's like if you are stuck in this, how to say, in this kind of perception of yourself that you're not worthy, you're not enough, or you're not capable, you're not happy internally, and then everything that's happening around you, you just would be like resisting everyone
Hmm.
and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a filter in the way that you see things. If you're seeing yourself in like that negative light of, you're not capable, you're not enough, and then you look at everything else and it's just like it's everything is also negative. And yeah, I was very similar in the way that I it took me a long time to find myself and to find out who I really was, because I was very much a people pleaser and a yes person, and I would just in my mind when I would be around people, I was always asking myself, um, what is it that they're wanting from me, and then how can I do that, and not just being myself and allowing them to accept me for who I am. I wanted to be what I thought they wanted me to be. And it really wasn't until I was like, I don't know, 25, somewhere in my mid 20s, that I realized what I was doing. And then had all the questions of like, who actually is John? What do I actually enjoy doing? And what what is my personality, because I had so many different personalities for so many different friend groups. And yeah, I think that like that realization is such a turning point and so freeing too, to really accept yourself and to find yourself.
Yeah, it's liberating,
Oh yeah.
like just knowing. And that's why I always say that we need to focus on ourselves first,
Hmm.
like really understanding what we want out of life, because you maybe get surprised, but so many people I talk to, and I work on two international markets, so I work with Russian speaking people, because by my first kind of my culture, I'm Russian. And I also work with English speaking markets, and like majority of people don't even know what they want. It's like they're so lost,
Hmm.
living someone else's life, someone else's story, but not really trying to step back, pause for a moment, and really, just understand, what do I want? It's like doesn't matter if like my neighbor's buying property, buying like upgrading the cars, but what do I want? Maybe I want to live in a camp. Maybe I want to, just like live a simple life, be an artist, just don't work in bank, as an
Hmm.
example. But it's just like really, but I think it's just a lot of pressures as well, coming from society, and we feel like we need to step up, as if like, well, you know, it's like if we don't, then doesn't mean that we're gonna our network will reject us, because for the human beings we want to feel as we belong, and if we feel that our tribe is rejecting us, is like, well, no, no, no.
Right.
I would rather do what they're doing because I don't want to be lonely. But I'm actually like the opposite. I always say, like, look, if I find out what I want, what I'm passionate about, what I want to do, keep focused on myself, like, don't even look, for example, what other mentors are doing, what other businesses being built. Yes, it's important to understand your niche and your competitors, but like, don't obsess about, like, oh, how much they charge and what are the growth like strategy, how do they market. It's like, no, just leave it to them.
Yes.
Focus on doing what you're best at, and then just start showing up, but showing up authentically for who you are. If you wanna like show your, some shy traits, yeah, you do it that way, but you kind of still remain to for who you are, rather than changing your identity at the core for becoming someone you don't.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I like that once I had broken through and had that realization of like who I really was and allowed myself to be more weird and to share the strange things that I like and not just talking about what everyone else liked. I started to find my friends that we connected on those levels of like, oh, you like horror movies too? I also like horror movies. And then we would just like go down this rabbit trail of all these different things and which ones we really liked. And like it built those connections much deeper than if I was just trying to talk about what I thought everyone else wanted me to talk about, or sharing like that. And even in my business, I was thinking of like the I was kind of like a mid-level photographer for years and just kind of more of a side gig. I was kind of I did it full time, but I didn't make a lot of money. I wasn't very successful. People didn't really know who I was, and it was because I was trying to look like everyone else, and I saw the trends and I saw how other people took photos, how they interacted with their clients, and I tried to mimic that and do what they were doing. And it really wasn't until I decided to be me and to suggest doing photos in like a junkyard or doing photos in a mall or an arcade or something different that it really started to take off, because people who also wanted photos like that weren't seeing them at other places, and they're like, oh, here we go, this guy.
John is the best person for that.
Right, exactly, yeah. And like now people know like, oh, if you want like some weird creative stuff, go talk to John, because he's all weird and creative and has all these ideas, and like I'm letting that out into the world instead of just keeping that to myself and like, well, I don't think people will really want to purchase this because what I see out there is not this. And I think that is it's a hard step to get over, when you're not seeing people like you, when you're not seeing others who have the same interests, being elevated in the society.
Yeah, I think as well, it's just like, there is a like a fine balance line between, once you start following the path of being authentic,
Hmm.
you just need to accept that in a journey you might fuck up, like you might fail, something might happen, just accept it's happened already. And once you do, it's like liberating, and you just go and start showing up, and you will see that some people will get more attracted to you. But unfortunately, and it happens everywhere, and again, it's more understanding and accepting that will happen, that some people will be more, repelled, like, okay,
Yes.
I don't like
Yeah.
John. It's fine. It's more like accepting, well, you're gonna fuck up, you're gonna have haters,
Hmm.
But damn, I love my journey. I love for what I do, and it just makes me so happy. I'm enthusiastic, I'm passionate, and my clients will find me. And that's why I always say it's just like, because people have normally, especially if you're providing a service, like there is this problem, especially between coaches. A lot of coaches, they about everything yet about nothing, because they do lifestyle coaching, relationship coaching, money
Yeah.
coaching, business coaches. I'm like, whoa, 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 wait, what the outcome your clients actually getting? Okay, like
Right.
you niche down, like you either relationship coach, like for example for like middle age woman after menopause, I don't know, or you're more like a business coach for startups. Like what actually are you doing? Because it's better to go niche than to go broad, because again it comes down to understanding what you want. Because if you want to attract mass audience, yeah, perhaps you can go broad. But if you want to essentially enjoy yourself in the product, work less but work with people you're more aligned to, and you can demand high prices, then it's best to go niche. And these people will feel like you actually get them because
Yes.
you're going niche. um yeah.
Yeah. And going niche, you are spending all of that time on that one niche, and you are developing your skills in that, and not trying to do all the different things, and you're doing all of the things okay. You're fine. You're not like excelling at really any of them because you're trying to do everything.
Everything.
And and, and it's like, I don't know, I'm just like picturing like building a wall and just like placing bricks on all these different walls, and it's like slowly getting up. It's just like a very small fence. But if you niche down and just like placing all the bricks, it's just like you build a tower much quickly, or a lot quicker, because you're focused on this one thing. You're growing that skill set, and you're like, oh, if I place the bricks here and I can put the mortar here quick, and you just like get into this routine, and it's all good. I'm just like all over the place with my hands today. But like that, uh, it's so much better for you and so much better for your clients, and they will see that too, that you really excel in what you're doing, and they will trust you a lot more than, because like I'm primarily a wedding photographer. If I was sharing that I was taking newborn photos, and that I mean, I do product photography, but that's a whole different side business. But like if I was sharing that on my wedding photography website, and people were just like, oh, I see a beautiful couple here, and then there's a baby, and then here is like a soda can on a beach, and it's like it feels disconnected, and it feels like I'm all over the place because I am. Um, they're not going to feel as secure than if they come to my site and it's just everything about what they are looking for. And then they will feel a lot more um, trusting in your abilities if they're just like, okay, you are a professional and an expert in this one niche. I trust you a lot
Mhm.
more. Um,
I
uh,
think you know what it is. It's some of these service providers, they,
mhm,
because that's actually, I always get this concern coming from them. They're like, well, let's imagine like I'm running a like a group mentoring program, and
mhm,
I have 10 people, all of them coaches, and I have like three relationship coaches, I don't know, three health one, and four business ones. So they're like feeling FOMO because they think, oh my gosh, there is three more people who coach on a business. Doesn't mean I have to compete with them. No, like in my world, it doesn't exist. Like competition doesn't exist. Why? Because I help people to show up authentically through writing transformational personal content where you don't just like show up as experts because people are bored by reading this like factual AI generated
Right.
expertise content, because it's like I've seen so many of it. I just want to relate, I want to, connect with you. And this is where, even if these four business coaches start writing content, start showing up, like doing a broadcast, running webinars, whatever they want to do, they gonna attract their tribe, their people, because you're gonna be sharing your energy. Because people always tell me, wow, Jenny, you have such an amazing energy. And you know in one room there may be equally 10 people like me with the same offering, but some people will come to me and other people will come to other coaches and mentors. Why? Because I have different energy, I have different vibe, I have different values. So, and this is where I always tell, forget about competition. It doesn't exist. We're all together, we help support each other,
Hmm.
and build relationships, because you don't know where it may lead you afterward. But it like seems like a lot of people have this more, how to say, this fear, as if if they open up too much, someone gonna come and steal the clients.
Right.
If you
Oh
know what
yeah.
I mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if I share too much, then someone else is going to come in and like try to act like me and then steal my clients. Or if I share too much about like my pricing or something like that, then someone else is just going to copy it and then like undercut me. And that might happen. Who knows? But it's nothing
Yeah.
that you need to worry about, because you're
Mm,
still going to attract the people. I love that you said like your personality, because for years I would see other photographers booking people that had either like had reached out to me, and we talked a little bit, and then they ended up going with someone else, and I took that personally for for years. I was just like, oh no, rejection, and I feel so terrible, and you didn't want me, you didn't think I was good enough. And then around that time that I started realizing like who I was, and figuring out who I really am, uh, I also realized like it is not always me. It could be my personality. It could be that um, I have definitely worked with people that did not jive with my personality, and they were just like, "You are way too talkative, and jumping around, and just like always like a dog with like the squirrel tennis ball, just like always, getting distracted with something like, oh, let's go over here. I like this tree. I don't know what I want to do over here with this light, but I have an idea." And like that does not work for some people, and some people just want it to be like very smooth and calming, and that is not really me. And uh, and realizing that if someone does not book with you, if they go with somebody else, it could be that their personality just didn't match with yours, and that is not a slight to you. That is not rejection for you. It is just you do not match. It's two puzzle pieces that don't fit together, and you don't want to cram them in there, because it's going to end up hurting one of them or both of them, to where you don't get like you're not able to provide the service that you really want to give, and they're not receiving the service that they really want, just because you try to put those two puzzle pieces together that didn't fit.
yeah. Um, and interestingly enough, I well, I mean, I always thought that was other way around, but then I've learned through my own experience that people actually don't buy what you have.
Yeah.
People buy your vibe, your energy. Essentially, they want to be kind of in your, how to say, like in your network, to really understand the way you think, what's your perception about life, about people, about relationship, about business. It's more like they want to exchange the values, and they want to really take on your mindset and how you approach things. So it's not like that you, because For me personally, when I see all of the experts, because I spend a lot of my time on LinkedIn, like nowadays,
Yeah.
and Telegram. So Facebook is not kind of my thing, just because it's just changed so much over time. And
It really
sometimes,
has.
yeah, and Instagram, I have love and hate relationship with Instagram. I can literally be there like every day, and then I'm out of it for like 3 4 months. I just don't even open it. So um but when I see this content where people like giving you facts or so much value in it, is like they think they are really helping people. But how, as a consumer, I think, well, great, you've just given me value, but I haven't paid a price, it's free. So
Mm.
in my mind, why do I need to commit? Okay, well, I got something nice, I got cool inside, I closed the post, liked it, maybe commented, I moved on. I'm not going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And this is why I think it's more understanding that actually we need to turn more to writing this transformational personal content that make people connect to who we are, so they can see. Because I always say that um, your journey, so the process you go through, the growth in your business, in your personal life, so that's the journey. And your journey is a solution to people's problems. Do you
Mm.
understand? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. I love that.
so, and that's where we need to show not just successful success, like a lot of people do. Oh, my achievements! I opened this company, exited that company, earned this. And I'm like, yeah, but like what? Like I can look at it, but I'm like, it doesn't make me okay. Well, good for you.
Right.
It's like
Right.
good for
Yeah.
you. What I'm getting out of it. It's just well, good for you, right? But it's like it doesn't make me like, oh wow, like okay, so but what, like, can you share a bit more like about the process, about the journey you went through? Because that's where I think a lot of people illusional. They either admire successful people or envy them, because they feel, oh, life just like happened to me, they're just lucky. But
Hmm.
it's because these people not showing the process. Like if you were to show the process, that would make other people, like your audience you want to attract, connect to you more and
Oh
really
yeah.
trust you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why I am very drawn to documentaries and like the origin stories of things. Like there's the podcast How I Built This that goes into business owners and like huge businesses, global businesses, and like how they started and what like their journey and all of that. And that kind of thing, I love that because it gives that human connection to this giant business. Like I love the story of I forget her name, but the woman who started developed Spanx and figured out
Oh
all
yeah.
of that, and like how she went through all these different iterations and why she was doing that, and like her whole story. I'm just like, oh, this is like, I would just see Spanx at the store and just be like, okay. And like I knew that it was this huge global billion-dollar business, but really knew nothing about her. And now I know so much about her, and except her name, apparently it's it's not in my head. But
I
like
think it's
those,
Sarah Blakely or something like that.
yes, that's it. Yeah, okay. But yeah, like uh, there we go, teamwork. We got there.
Yeah.
But like those stories are so intriguing, and like that's what people want from you too, about your story. And I know like it is definitely scary to get yourself out there and like build a personal brand and talk about yourself and be relatable. It is much easier, especially for us photographers, because we have so many photos of other people, and we can just like throw those photos online
hide
and just
hide
be
hide
we
behind the
yeah
scene, right?
yeah, we're just gonna hide behind our photos, and it's like, if you like these photos, then hire me, but I'm not gonna tell you anything about me. And and it is. I mean, it's weird for sure looking, staring at a camera and talking to it, um, and sharing about your life and those aspects that can cause those connections with other people. But it is so worth it. Um, with like building like personal development and everything, is there like some like specific ways that you see that business owners can develop, or maybe some good practices that we can do to help in our personal development as business owners?
Yeah, I think there is already, like, honestly, so much how I call it free advice that a lot of people like to give, give lots of value. Um, but what I actually find more and more, and that actually saddens me, because I've recently had someone reach out to me who I have some sort of, partnership together, and they vulnerably said, Jenny, please, can you help me get more clients?
Hmm.
So, okay. So, in my world, I'm thinking, cool. So, like, tell me more about like what you do, what you want to offer, and essentially what's the vision, like why you are in the business. Because for me to then go out, and start sharing this person or the service with my network, first I need to believe in what the person is trying to achieve. So I need to really understand, okay, where are you heading, how can I help you, how can I strengthen you? Because if you as an owner don't have a clue, like where you going, what's your vision for the business, for yourself, you're gonna have difficulty like attracting partners, attracting investors, attracting essentially the right type of clients for yourself.
Hmm.
And what's worse, so this person left without coming back with the answer. So I'm just like, okay, so well, maybe when you're ready, we can talk more, because I did offer, like I said, look, once you get clarity on this, we can discuss more and I can see if I can help you and how I can help you. But no one, because some people think, oh, I'm going to find an advisor, or I don't know, a coach or mentor who is going to help me understand the vision. They can help you refine it, but still it needs to come from you.
Yeah.
Because if you are coming or relying on someone else to tell you how you need to run your business, where you're going, what's the likelihood of this business to succeed or fail? Or essentially, how you expect to be making strategic decisions that gonna either propel, and move you forward, or actually, stall and freeze your business, because you just don't know, in which direction to look, what decision to take. And about the vision, this is something I also tell, like it doesn't matter if you run a startup or small business owner, or you just a solopreneur, mompreneur, solopreneur, run your own like service-based business. Still yet you need to understand where are you going.
Yeah.
Because when the hurdles come your way, the obstacles and everything, the only thing that can help you move forward is the vision. Because it's like the same as in my IT business, we had so many problems along the way, like plenty. And there've been times and days where I was crying in my pillow and thinking, we've tried to raise like crowdfunding campaign or something like that, but more as a
Hmm.
family round, we failed. Like absolutely horrendously. Like no one, we probably got like 100 pounds. And I say it because at that time we looked in each other's face, me and my partner, and so, man, do we suck? No, we don't. But it's more like it really shakens your confidence. Really the belief. Why is that in your network? No one really wants to or believes in you, or doesn't really. Well, don't they get it? Like this product gonna change like life, revolutionize the industry? No, they don't, and that's okay. But that doesn't kind of stop us, to still pursuing and moving forward with our vision,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like you have that vision, that goal that you are working toward. And if you're on one path and you're headed there and then a tree falls over and it blocks the path, if you have that vision and goal of where you want to end up, you can go around the tree and then make your way back to the path or go find a different path that goes toward your goal. But yeah, if you have no vision at all, you're just like, I don't know, I'm out here, I'm trying to be successful and work with people, and then a tree falls over the path, you're like, I guess I'll go this way, and then you're off somewhere else because you have no direction of where you're going. And yeah, that I think that is the hardest thing, especially um, for like small business owners, the solopreneurs, the people that are just like, I have this thing that I like doing, I turned it into a business, and I'm like making some side money, or I'm, now it's fairly successful, and this is my job. But if you don't have a goal toward what you want to do, it's really easy to either just like get stagnant and bored and then burn out, and then you end up closing the business, or you're just wandering aimlessly and you have like there's not the passion behind it because you don't really know what that passion is. um, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think in like our society and just like the world that we live in, it is very like now everything is got to do it quickly, got to figure this out so fast that sometimes we just jump in there and we just start moving, we start running down the path, but we don't know where the path is going because we feel like we have to go. And like just taking a break and thinking about things and really asking yourself like, what do we do? Like then if you do have a big setback or something where you have to ask yourself like, do I suck? Do people not want to support this? Is this not a good business? You can be like, okay, no, this is good, I know where I'm headed, this is just a setback, I can still get back out there and find another way.
Yeah, but also like for us, it was realization more in terms of, because we both, myself and my partner, we are
Mm,
coming. No one in our like network of family are entrepreneurs, like no one.
right.
So we essentially coming from like a background where there is no successful businesses, there is no entrepreneurs, and we're coming from employed kind of mentality. So because we worked in the office and things like that,
Hmm.
so the people who we approached at that time, these were the people still being employed, working in the office or doing some other jobs. So
Yeah.
I'm coming to them saying, hey, it's a great mobile app we're building for personal development enthusiasts. They're like, what is personal development? Majority of people don't even know what it is. So
Yeah.
it's also kind of, and that's kind of because we knew that at the beginning we kind of, it was really like, oof, it hurts, and your ego like kind of, oh, do I suck, or does my product suck, or what is going on? But it was like, just move on, pick yourself up and move on, because we
Yeah.
have bigger things to be thinking about. And yeah, and that's kind of understanding also, that's one failure, another failure, it just doesn't define you. It's just more being really clear on why is it important to you, and what do you want to get out of it, like vision, mission, things like that. I also would say that there is an illusion a lot of people have, is that many people want to monetize their hobby, and that is a very wrong approach to God. Because if you
Yes.
like making candles or things like that, and people like, honestly, I've heard so many things where people like almost crying, oh my gosh, I'm so passionate about like making candles or writing songs, but damn it, no one wants to buy them, what should I do? I'm like, what, do you think this is enough value that people would be willing to open up their wallets and actually pay? Like, how is it solving someone's problem or improving their life? Like, just think about like what, like if it's just a side hustle where you do it more, maybe getting like some bucks, every week or month, that's fine. But if you want to grow like a proper, fully operational business, like create like a system out of it, then think bigger in terms of, what value you're going to provide for people. And many
Hmm.
people just like, nah, they just, well, I have this passion, I have this hobby, I just want to monetize this. Like, this is illusion, guys. You still need to, like, yeah, you can be passionate about your business, what you do, but thinking about how is it valuable for people versus people would be willing to pay for what you have.
Yes. Yeah, like having that, you need to be able to express the value of what you're creating and what your services are, and not just put it out there and be like, well, I do this, so people will definitely want to buy this. But like, yeah, you got to put yourself in your potential client's shoes of what are they looking for? What are their pain points that you can help fix? And what are their desires that you can come through with and deliver for them, and then speak to that, and that will draw them in. Also, like that's I had a realization probably about 5 years ago or so. My wife, she loves cross stitching, and that is just like her relaxing day. She'll just sit and cross stitch this, and she's got like, she now designs her own designs and all of that, and it's like this huge operation, and it's really cool. And me being the entrepreneur, I was like, oh, we could start an Etsy shop, and I can do this, and I can work on your branding, and we can make this into a business. And I had the realization of not everyone wants to turn their hobby into a business, and not every hobby should be turned into a business. Because she was like, I like working for somebody else. I like my 9 to 5 job. I don't want to work for myself, and I don't want to turn my hobby that I really am passionate about and love into a business. And I think sometimes people do, and you're just like you said, you're passionate about it, and then you turn it into a business, and maybe you are good at meeting people's desires and speaking to what they're wanting, but then it becomes a job, and then that passion fades because I have to do this now to make money.
That's like, ouch. That's
Yeah.
like literally was like, okay, my darling, and that's another thing where, especially when we're like, provide the service or offering. So
Hmm.
even like, down the sales process is like, even though I can see a massive potential out of someone just by talking to them, out of their idea, but if the person, like your wife, is comfortable where she is and she doesn't see her hobby turning into a business, damn it, you have to respect that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen and heard so many cases where, um, people saw potential in the prospects, like the clients, so they sealed the deal, they made a sell, and in the product when they were working together, like both of them, like the expert essentially, like the mentor and the client, hated each other, they suffered, they were miserable, no results, no kind of transformations, because the client bought something they weren't really wanting,
Hmm.
if you know what I mean. And then just like, and for you as an expert, you then got like a burden on your shoulders, trying to drag and encourage and convince that person keep going, you know.
Yeah.
Just, and some experts also like, that's why I say like, no, our role, like as a mentor or if you're a coach, we don't motivate and inspire people. Come on, it's just like we, our role is to help people with essentially getting people from A to B, to kind of
Hmm.
either, kind of through some sort of transformation, personal business, understanding the outcome they want, and help them, guide them through the process. but we by no means need to sit there and motivate them, because then it's turning into relationships where we're like a parent, and then there is a children sitting there and we're like, come on son,
Yeah.
get up,
Yeah.
now it's time to write a post, now it's time to go show up, do like a podcast. And
Yep.
that's where a lot of people also struggle and burn out, because they believe that they need to motivate and inspire people, but that's not your job. That, like, that's not your role. Because essentially, again, it's more like, well, who do you want to work with, the children sitting in your product or the adult who actually, no, that's as important for me. I am making decision and full responsibility for whatever outcome I get, because I'm willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
And like in my product, I say it openly, like, I don't offer you any guarantees of results, because there is 50-50, responsibility. I can give my 50% bits, but
Hmm.
if you're not gonna take it, whose fault is that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You got to work together because you can do, if you're doing all the work and then they're just like letting it fall, you can't guarantee. It's like, you got to work together and got to both have that passion that meets together. Um, but yeah, man, Jenny, this has been amazing. I just looked down and I was like, we've already been talking for 45 minutes. This is insane. Uh, this is like it blew past. But this was so good. Thank you so much for being on the show. Before we kind of like wrap things up, there's something that I like to do where we talk about what we're loving this week, and it could be literally anything, a new TV show, book, movie, food, whatever. What are you loving this week?
This week specifically, I am loving pizza, because we've actually this week we had too much pizza, and for some reason I've started going back to watching Harry Potter movies.
Okay.
Or maybe because I see it always, I always ask myself a question: why some films and movies I keep coming back to, even though I've watched them like so many times. And I think Harry Potter is an amazing example of the story of a hero.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like the whole storyline that keeps you hooked. And I love, that's why I say, like, I love personal stories. I love when I really get to know like the real faces behind the brands, because a lot of people hide behind the company brands.
Uh-huh.
And to me, like, I absolutely love getting to know the real people and helping them shine as well in the real world. So that
Yeah.
was for me pizza and Harry Potter.
Pizza and Harry Potter. I love it. Those are two that are just on repeat in our house. We're always, revisiting Harry Potter, the movies, the books, and then pizza is just, we love pizza. Um, let's see. This week I'm loving some of our neighbors. We were out for a walk the other day, and they stopped us and asked if we wanted some caterpillars because they have monarch like butterfly
That's good.
caterpillars. Yeah,
What the new ones?
yeah, yeah. They just the little monarch caterpillars, and they asked us if we wanted some because they were going to turn into butterflies soon.
Oh,
And of
nice.
course, we've got three kids, and they were just like, yes, I want to see. And I've never actually seen a caterpillar like turn into the chrysalis and cocoon and all that. So right now, like, I'm looking at them over on our mantle, and they're just, there's two of them that have already gone into their chrysalis, and they'll be butterflies pretty soon. So I'm loving that, just like watching that whole thing. And I still don't really understand how that all works inside there, but excited to see some monarch butterflies emerge pretty soon.
That's
So.
gross and transformation.
Yes, yes, it
Well,
is.
it's a nature process, but you're watching how they're growing and
Yeah,
transforming into
yeah,
a lovely, beautiful creature.
yeah, yeah. That's amazing. So yeah, that's what I'm loving this week. Jenny, where can people find you? Where can they follow along with what you do, and like find your app, all those things?
Yeah, I am primarily now focusing on LinkedIn, and not like other experts that who post expert content that's boring. No, I share personal stories. um, and my other platform that I do is Telegram. I don't know if obviously any of the people, but Telegram is amazing for like any quick podcast. If you want to leave a voice message or just click broadcast, go online, chat to people, build relationship. I'm loving it. It's like honestly removing complexity, simplifying to the max, being yourself, showing up, not like like complex
Yeah,
systems.
I love
Um,
that.
yeah, and the website is www.patenic.com.
Okay.
It's yeah, so people can go in there and start. They basically it explains what the app is about. Currently we're still in beta, so people can just directly reach out to me and I can give them options how they can download the app on the device and essentially play with it, but it's not available yet
Okay.
officially, and
Cool.
once it will be, I'm sure you will guys find out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, once I'll keep in touch with you too and follow along. And once it's live and out there, out of beta, we'll add that to the show notes too. So anyone listening, a year from now or whatever, check the show notes. But yeah, I'll have links to all of that. Everyone, I am also starting to get into LinkedIn more. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it is, like you said, like Facebook has changed so much. Instagram is changing, and it's just like
Mm,
LinkedIn feels like a genuine place where I can just connect with people. And it's also, working as a coach. It's easy to find other people to connect with. So yeah, we'll definitely connect over there on LinkedIn, and I'll have that linked in the show notes too. But yeah, Jenny, thank you so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed this.
yeah, I was actually going to say we're much close as well. See, we kind of black.
I know, black on black.
Right?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for watching today, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye, y'all. Okay.